Shay Baby from the Brown Book series. Y'all alright? You guys are awesome. You know, y'all look so pretty and things like that. You know, big ups to all the authors that was here tonight. Didn't they do a wonderful job? And I love all the authors, but it's two outside of Brenda Jackson that I love the most. Y'all give it up for Vanessa Riley and Denny Price. Awesome sauce. Okay, so everyone have your glass of champagne, right? We're going to toast to the young lady that we're here for tonight. She has written, oh my God, for like 30 years. So this is her 30th year anniversary. We're celebrating her 150th book. Yes, we're also celebrating her 25th year as a Harlequin author. To be loyal to somebody for 25 years, honey, I don't know. After 6 days, I was looking at my husband funny. Like, I don't know how this gonna work. But I digress. Anyway, so we're here. Thank you guys. Thanks to Yolanda and Tina. And so we're going to lift our glasses to the New York Times USA Today award-winning legendary author, Miss Brenda Jackson. And without further ado, did y'all drink that? Okay, y'all like it? It's good? We like that too. Alright, so now bring her to the stage for her Q&A and all of this stuff. If you got questions, get ready. Because she's going to come over here and do her thing, and then the book signing will follow shortly after. All hearts and minds clear? Alright, bring her to the stage. Miss New York Times, USA Today's best-selling award author, Miss Brenda Jackson. Y'all can do better than that. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Come on, come on, come on. That's it, that's it, that's it, that's it, that's it. Yeah, DJ. Oh, we like that. It's a romance party, y'all. It's a romance party. The bar is still open. So when you finish a champagne glass, the bar is still open. Hey, get it. It's time for the purple lady. Get it. Look at her, look at her, look at her. DJ, she done got excited. I need you to come to the stage. She done got excited. Vanessa, can you please grab Brenda Jackson, please? I need another award-winning author to get the other award-winning author. Have a seat, darling. God bless you real good. Yolanda has done a wonderful job tonight. MCing, hasn't she? And her and Tina has put this on for us tonight. We appreciate you guys. So here's a cheers to you both. All right, and now I'm going to turn the service over to the missionary, the speaker of the hour.
Thank you, Shay. That was incredible, incredible, incredible. We've been waiting for this moment for so long just to celebrate. One more time, let's celebrate. It is not often that we get to say that we are celebrating an author who has written over 150 books. So this is so exciting. We are so grateful for all the hard work. In 30 years, if you think about it, that's what, 5 books a year or something crazy like that. Which means that your writing, it just keeps coming and keeps coming and keeps coming. And for that, we are ever so grateful. I'm not going to take up a bunch of time because we've had interviews earlier today and so forth, but we are going to give the audience a chance to ask a few more questions. So, because there were probably some folks who didn't get a chance to put their questions out there earlier today. And so, are there any questions in the house before we even get into? See, I knew it. Okay, I'm going to hand the mic. There's 1, 2, 3. You guys, any more? 4. One more. 5. There it is. Okay, so Q&A, I'm going to hand the mic. It's all yours. Here you go.
Congratulations, Miss Brenda Jackson. Thank you, thank you. My name
name is J.D. Williams, and I'm from Jacksonville, Florida, so I have her all the time. So my question is, in your book, the very first Westmoreland story, you have a sheep. Delaney's Desert Sheep is the name of the book. There is a particular part of the book that I always love, and I love hearing the story. So in case anybody has not heard about the sheep and the kiss is what we need to hear tonight, please.
How many of you have read Delaney Desert? Okay, so I think those of you who have read it know that there was a special kiss that the sheik laid on Delaney. And he laid it on her in such a way that she fainted. And women were asking me, is that real? Was it a real kiss? And I told them yes. And I told them, one thing I do with my book, I do extensive research. But that information about the kiss was given to me. I didn't research it. What it was, I went on a cruise for my class. Agnes, where Agnes? That's my classmate. Stand up, Agnes. Agnes was in my class in the 8th grade, so she was reading my book in the 8th grade. But they were innocent books. But we were on our class reunion cruise, and everybody knows wherever I go, I write. I always take my pad and pencil because I get my information, future ideas for stories from overhearing some of y'all conversations. So while they were doing their things with the class, I'm moseying around the cruise, leaning on the deck, seeing what I could hear. And so I overheard different things, and so I would jot them down. So one lady observed what I was doing, and she thought I was a spy or something. So she asked me what was I doing, and I told her I was a romance author, and I was just collecting ideas. I don't mind telling people what I do. And she said, well, have you ever heard of this kiss? I said, what kind of kiss is it? You know, it's a French kiss, what is it? She said, no, it's the area. And I'm like, oh, what? And she said, I'm from Greece, and there everybody talks about the French kiss. Nobody ever talks about that kiss. I said, well, tell me about it. So she told me about the kiss. And then I gave her my address. I said, well, could you send me information that's research on the kiss? And so I gave her my address, and a month or two later, she sent me the research, but it was in Greek. So I went to my friendly Greek sandwich shop, and I asked the owner, could he translate it for me? The guy, and he just got, whoa. I think I better let my wife explain it. So she did. She said, can you come after work? So I did when the shop was closed and I was after work. And she translated about the kiss. She read it to me in Greek. So I still have the original note in Greek. But I said, wow, I got to put this in one of my books. And when I wrote Delaney Desert Sheep, I could see that sheep who was so well versed from the Middle East and all of very experienced doing that. So that's how the kiss came about. And that kiss went viral. Men were writing me, sending me emails. They were mad. So they said that I was setting up unrealistic expectations. Their wives wanted them to do this kiss and it wasn't working. So I need to say the kiss was a fraud. I say, no, some men, can use this kiss and it can happen. So anyway, that's how the kiss came about. So if you haven't read Delaney Desert Sheep, read it. It's a very interesting and warm-hearted and hot and romantic love story. I did say hot, right? Did that answer your question? Again? Okay. Who's the next question?
Thank you. Okay, so the question I have, well, let me introduce myself. My name is Courtney. I'm originally from Miami, but I moved to Charlotte. I write a lot, and like as I write more, I see that I'm getting like really attached to my characters, and I wanted to know like, is that something that you experience a lot? Because I got nervous. I just stopped writing because I was getting too attached to the characters. So that was my question.
Okay, do I get too attached to the characters?
No, I know I was, but I was just asking, do you get some type of attachment to the characters?
Do I get attached to the characters when I write? Yes. Writers are either one of the two types. One is a plotter. They plot everything. They do outlines. They know everything. They know what's happening in chapter 1 through the very end. They know what hero and heroine eat for breakfast. They know their life. They know their dislike. They know everything before they start writing the book. The other type of author is a pantser. And that means you write by the seat of your pants. Really, that's where the term comes from, pantser. That means that you have a general idea what the story is about, but you have not gotten the full depth of the story because the story develops while you're writing. I am a pantser. I write all I know. First thing I know, it will have a happy ending because a true romance novel always has a happy ending. So I know that. And I do know my characters because most of you who follow me know that I write series. And most of the guys that I've introduced, or the females I've introduced, I've mentioned them before. They're either part of the Medeiros family, the Westmorelands, the Steeles, the Montgomerys, the Bennetts, the Masters. I know them. To me, they're like family. I know them, maybe not as well as some of you know them, because you read the book 2 and 3 times, but I know my characters. So when I select a character I'm writing about next, I can't help but become attached to them because I want to tell their story, and I want to tell it in a way that I know my readers will appreciate. That means that they do not change their character because you've gotten to know them. Now I've had a couple of them have occupation switched on me, but as far as their character, I really don't change up. So yes, I do know my characters. I become attached to them. I have written some books, like when I was writing The Green Ring. I got so attached to those 3 brothers. I got so attached to the 3 brothers when I got ready to write Hayden's story, which was the second story. Dalton was like, no, me. I want you to write my story. And I had to really push him from my mind to write the other brother's story, because I wanted to write the story in the order by their ages. So once in a while, when people say characters can speak to you, they can speak to the author, because my characters speak to me all the time. When I wrote Sir Drake, how many ever read Sir Drake Warren book? Yeah. Okay. The whole story for Sir Drake I had a whole different idea for Sir Drake. Sir Drake was supposed to fall in love, in my mind, when I started writing, with Solomon Croft's daughter. And somehow, while I was getting ready to write it, Tori or Sandy said, I'm still alive. I'm like, what? What? You still alive? So then I had to change horses, and I said, how can anyway. So you got the story you got now, and it ended up being a best-selling book, the way it was written. So I try to follow my mind, and one author, which I respect highly, Nora Roberts, said that you only get writer's block if you try to make your characters do something you don't want them, they don't want to do, or they're not in character to do. So in my 150 books, I have never gotten writer's block. Thank you for that question.
You're welcome.
Where's the next one? Was it over there? There you go.
Hi, Ms. Jackson. I'm a huge fan. I've been reading you since Justin and the Corvette. My question for you is, who is your favorite? Well, I guess we can break it in family, but who's your favorite Medeiros? Who's your favorite Westmoreland? Now, mine is Dexter is mine. I thought he was a very complicated character. And my favorite Westmoreland is Ian. He owned the hotel. But I'm curious, who's your favorite Medeiros and your favorite Westmoreland?
My favorite Medeiros will always be Justin, because he was my first Medeiros. And I think Justin will always have a special place in my heart because he was the first. And from Justin got Dex, who was totally different, Clayton, who was different. So, and then as the books kept coming, then I went to the next generation, and then I think Blade became one of my favorites. So other Medeiros, Justin was my favorite. Other Westmoreland, my heart belonged to Bane. My heart belonged, I love all of them, don't get me wrong. But my heart belonged to Bane Westmoreland. Bad boy Bane. And I think because he was not only a bad boy, he was a dedicated boy. He loved his crystal. And that's what I wanted to get over to my readers, that Bane was bad, and I showed you his transformation from bad boy to a person who still loved his crystal, but loved his country. He knew how to handle his anger, and you knew why he had so much anger. But Bane will always be my love. Hi, Vanessa. Hello. This is a fellow author that I admire.
Thank you. You are a sweetheart. I love my Jenkins, right? I love Brenda Jackson, and I love Beverly Jenkins. Y'all have been rocks through the industry.
Thank you.
And you've opened so many doors. I mean, I couldn't be standing here. So many of us couldn't be standing here if it wasn't for what you guys have done. And so in that perspective, after 150 books, the landscape is changing again. Doors that were open, doors are closing. So if you could give 3 pieces of advice to all the new authors, because everybody in here, there's a book that somebody wants to write, but they are afraid of rejection. So actually I got a 2-part question. What's the stankiest rejection you ever got?
What now?
The stankiest rejection you ever got.
Thank you.
What'd you do about it? And then once again, what advice do you give to authors facing it now and wanting to get their books out, but they're meeting resistance?
Oh gosh, and I tell people who say they have been rejected, how many times? I have been rejected by, when I first started writing, because remember, like you said, the landscape is different. They were not looking for black authors. Black love was unheard of in that day, back in the 90s. So the landscape was totally different. So what I had to do was get tough skin, a thick skin, because I got as many rejection letters where I would plaster my whole bedroom wall. And some of them were some of the craziest rejections. No one gave me information or feedback on how to make the book better because they really didn't want the book, no matter what I would have done. So I cornered an editor. I'm not going to call out the publishing company, but I cornered the editor. And I say, I really want to write for you. Can you tell me what I can do to make this book better? And she said, we love your writing style, but we would never accept the book with the characters you have. Unless you make them white characters, we will not buy your book. We will not buy the book. And I told them, I'm sorry, I write the book as I see them, so I won't change my characters. So that same publisher, they don't like me to tell that story because they know I do tell that story. And I say, I accept that that was your time. I grew up in corporate America. I retired 37 years from State Farm Insurance Company in management. So I know about the profit margin. I know most, even publishing companies, they're in it to make money. Everything, and I understood the bottom line. And during that time, they didn't think black love would sell. It was only after Kensington started Arabesque and Frances Ray and Donna Hill and Beverly, not Beverly, but Beverly was Avon, but Donna Hill, Beverly Jenkins, and I, and Gwen Forrester, we basically showed them that it sells because black women wanted to see people on the cover that looked like them. And when they saw that it was a money maker, unfortunately, the only stores that were catered to us initially was the black bookstore. And we depended on our black bookstores, so nobody else, Walmart, Barnes and Noble, nobody wanted our books because they didn't think they would sell. Then when they saw, wait a minute, we can make money off these books. Then they basically made it so to the black bookstores couldn't compete with their discount or anything. And that's where there was no loyalty, unfortunately. People looked at what's going to cost less money. And so that was the demise of most of the black bookstores at that time. So that's one thing that I don't think I would ever truly forget as far as rejection. And them not telling me why I was rejected. And telling me that if you change your characters, that's how it's going to be. And as far as how I think things are now, what I can tell authors now, if you got a book, there's no excuse for you not to write it. Because you have things at your disposal that I did not have. Like Amazon, that you could write, self-publish. That was unheard of. There were authors, and I admire authors that were self-published because they were basically selling their books out of their trunks. That's what they were doing, going to malls, selling books out of their trunk. They did not have an avenue like Amazon and Kindle and ebook that they could do it. So someone, you don't have to wait for a rejection. No one can have to reject you. You have to just feel confident in yourself that you can do it and do it. And get it out there. And Amazon make it so darn easy. I'm a hybrid author. I'm with a traditional publisher, HarperCollins and Amazon. But then I also write under my own publishing company. And my publishing company has been established since 2008. When people were naive, authors were not even thinking about doing their own publishing company. But I didn't open a publishing company and publish other authors. I wanted to publish books under my company and my name that traditional publishing didn't want. Because the traditional publishing, they have a guideline. The hero has to be at least 35. The heroine has to be this age. She has to look a certain way. He has to look drop dead gorgeous, of course. And, you know, she has to be thin. But you had women that were They were full-figured. You had older men that women wanted to read about older men, and I told a story earlier today, which I had an 87-year-old diehard reader who said, I love your book, but I feel like I'm reading about my grandson. Could you kind of up the age for the men? Make him at least 60, even 70. My publisher wouldn't have gone along with that. So I made my own publishing company so I could give my readers what they wanted. Full-figured women's stories, older couple stories. And so that's what I would tell you. There's no excuse. You just have to make sure that you know the tools you need to write. And there's always conferences that offer workshops to show you how to do it. Thank you. Any other questions?
Hi, I'm Cheryl Gray, and I'm with the New Edition Book Club. And I've been reading you since book 1, and I'm very old. I love it. My question is, I know that you started your books with the young adults, and I can't wait to get it, but you're going to keep writing for us adults.
Yes, I am. My young adult book was started because when I would come to groups like this and meet with my readers, they would say, my grandkids and my kids want to, Mommy, what you reading? Can I read Brenda Jackson? And she say, no, you can't. So they say, can you write a book that our kids can read? I say, well, I'm into romance, But then I thought about what my kids enjoyed when they were young. And they always read Nancy Drew, the Hardy Boys, and so I thought, okay, I'm going to make a Nancy Drew, a black Nancy Drew. And who would be the best person to be my Nancy Drew, my teenage Nancy Drew, other than the daughter of Alex Maxwell and Christy Madera. Alex is my private investigator. Now, he is what? He solves every case that comes up in the Madera's family. And then Christy is the investigative reporter. So I said, oh yeah, their daughter will be a chip off the old block. So I've aged her. In my normal book, she's only maybe 9 or 10, but I've aged her to 15 in the young adult book. So I find out who's reading this book is the older adult people. They're writing me and asking me questions. I said, wait, are you letting your grandkids and your kids read it? Well, they'll get it sometime, but I want to read it now. So I wrote it and I gave a lot of information because I included some of my readers' favorites, like Sir Drake and Trevor and Ashton, So, to answer your question, I am going to write one a year. I have 5 books in mind. One that comes out every, because I had a focus group of young people and teachers and librarians. And they told me that, make it a summer read for the kids, not interfere with their regular school book. So that's what I've done. And, but my heart will always be romance. And I will always write romance. But this book, the young adult book, is for ages 10 and up. Okay, so it's clean, and I introduce the kids to some of my other characters in that book. So it's a fun book. It was number 1 on Amazon, new releases for 6 solid weeks.
7.
So it did very well. But my heart is in romance, and I've written 5 new Brenda Jackson adult romance books since my 150th book came out. So I will end the year with 155 books.
Can you tell them about Lauren Medeiros? Because you don't write up under Brenda Jackson.
Oh yeah, because I didn't want the kids to say, Mommy, when my next Brenda Jackson book coming out? So what I decided to use a pen name for the first time ever, and I thought the best name I could use was Lauren. That was the heroine from my very first book, Justin and Lauren. And Lauren was a writer or author of children's stories. So, I said, okay, so I already wrote about an author, so I adopted her name. And it's Lauren Medeiros, so look out for Lauren Medeiros.
Any more questions? One question to piggyback off of Vanessa Riley about the publishing being hybrid and being traditional. For the traditional authors who are thinking about going hybrid or doing their own thing, what happened in your life that made you be like, the hell with this, I'm gonna publish my own book? What was that scenario like?
You mean without any being traditional?
Yeah.
I think eventually it will get there. I really do. Not that I think traditional publishing will end. I think that they will lean more toward AI, unfortunately. And it's going to be up to the readers to say, wait a minute, this don't have the emotions put in this book of a real author. Everything is going now to what's making money, what you can do more and pay less. Already spaces in bookstores, Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, and all these other bookstores, they are decreasing shelf space for books.
One moment, please.
They are decreasing shelf space for books. Lines are closing. I used to write for Desire. That's where all those little red books you could put in your purse and everything. They closed that line. So now I'm writing for special edition. So what I've been told, they're reducing the shelf space. They're making the books bigger, more in trade size than the smaller book, because they can charge you more. And then they are reducing the number of authors that write for that line. So I tell authors, be prepared. Think outside the box. Don't wait for it to happen. And then, oh my God, what am I going to do? Have a plan. And your plan should be to get your readers prepared. That I may not be writing traditional books for the next 5, 6, whatever years. And set up your own bookstore. I've established a bookstore online since 2008. So I've already been prepared. Because I was part of corporate America. So I knew some of the things to look for and the signs to look at. So be prepared that Amazon right now is a good outlet for us as authors. But it's all about money. What happened when our 70-30% with them flip? They get 70 and we get 30. Because that's the only game in town. Never let anything be the only game in town. Be ready and be prepared and get your readers ready and prepared. And that's why authors should know their readers, not just when they want to sell a book to the readers, and then you show up and do your thing. You should let them know, then you have a loyal following. They're more than just a cash cow for you. They're your family. And that's how I consider my readers. Anybody that know me, that's how I consider my readers. I go on a cruise with my readers. And people ask me, why would you take a cruise with all your readers? Because they're my family. Because I would just be Brenda Jackson, someone whose book would be just on the shelf without my readers buying it. So I appreciate my readers. So you have to think of these things, get your readers prepared for things that are to come. And the whole landscape of traditional publishing is changing. And it's not going to change for the better of the author either. It's going to change for the better of the publisher.
All right, so that was incredible, Brenda Jackson, Miss Jackson. Let's give her a round of applause. In fact, as our final tribute and thank you, we're going to stand and give her a standing ovation and truly celebrate this woman. Give her the flowers that she deserves. Thank you, thank you, thank you for the great work. Congratulations on 155 books for 2025. We appreciate you, Miss Jackson. Thank you so much for coming to Author Talks 2025, and we'll see